Hi, everyone. My name is Ekaite George, organizer of the Port Harcourt Regional Hub of the 72nd Annual ICA Conference and a doctoral candidate in Communication Studies at the University of Port Harcourt. I'd just like to say welcome to Port Harcourt Regional Hub. With me, I'm delighted to chair this panel session with wonderful scholars on the panel. The session is titled Communicating Social Justice and Activism in Nigeria, the Nexus Between Theory and Practice. I share this table with a wonderful group of scholars. My professor is here, as well as others who double as scholars and practitioners in the field of communication, media, and communication for development. To begin with, let me introduce the panelists on this session. To my immediate left is Dr. Chris Ochonogo. Dr. Chris Ochonogo is the head Department of Journalism and Media Studies in the Faculty of Communication and Media Studies, University of Port Harcourt, Nigeria. Next to Dr. Ochonogo is Dr. Enwell Obinichi Aaron. She's a lecturer at the Department of Mass Communication, Captain Elechi Amadi Polytechnic. We also call it Port Harcourt Polytechnic in Port Harcourt, Nigeria. Another panelist who is with us on this session is Mr. Diego Okenyodo. Mr. Diego Okenyodo is joining us online from Kefi, Nasarawa State. He is a development communication consultant and a graduate student of the Institute of Strategic and Development Communication, Nasarawa State, Kefi, in Nigeria. So I welcome all of our panelists to have a chance to also introduce themselves before we commence the session proper. Just to set the tone for this discourse, I would like to introduce the key terms or concepts guiding our discussion on communicating social change, the connection between theory and practice. When we talk about that, we are talking about something like social justice. And social justice is related to the distribution of opportunities and privileges within a society evenly or equitably or equally. And our discourse will attempt to push the boundaries, see the extent to which social justice can interface with theory and practice, with scholarship and activism within the context of our experience in Nigeria, and a global network of communication, which reflects the theme of this conference, One World, One Network. So we're going to be exploring what the oneness of the global communication network can gain from or aid communication and activism on social justice in Nigeria. Then we move over to the term activism, which, just briefly has to do with using vigorous campaigning to bring about political or social change. And in this case, we're talking about using communication, using the media to push for this kind of change in society. Finally, we can almost take this for granted, the concept of communication, which is a sharing of ideas, the exchange of information, and all of it within the context of communicating change and justice in the society. So I believe that has set the tone for what this conversation will be about. And don't forget, joining this international conference from the city of Port Harcourt in Nigeria, which we are just so delighted to have the chance to share in this forum with colleagues all over the world. I'll just take a minute to let everyone know that the University of Port Harcourt is hosting this conference, the affiliate university for this regional hub of the conference, and we would like for everyone to listen to what our Vice Chancellor has to say in his welcome address to delegates from the regional hub of the ICA conference and to the ICA, which grants us this opportunity to hold this hub in Nigeria, in Port Harcourt, Nigeria.
The president of the International Communication Association, the principal officers of the University of Port Harcourt, the Dean, Faculty of Communication and Media Studies, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen. It is my pleasure to welcome you all to the University of Port Harcourt, specifically to the Port Harcourt Regional Hub of the 72nd Annual ICA Conference. This hub is a unique global platform for communication scholars to gather and shape the future of communication studies in Nigeria and Africa as key players in global communication. It gives me joy to address the ICA conference from this university because it is our tradition to identify and partner with scholarship and excellence. Ladies and gentlemen, the theme of this conference, One World, One Network, is apt for the times we live in. The task of reimagining communication scholarship on globalization and network is remarkable not just because it will situate scholarship at the cutting edge of innovative solutions to societal problems, but also because the emphasis on oneness calls everyone, everywhere in the world to the task. While the world is interconnected in various ways that modern communication capabilities have enabled, this conference creates a forum to translate the interconnectivity to relevant global scholarship and rigorous debates on their effectiveness. The premise of an interbank in the conference theme is that oneness can be celebrated and problematized. The domains and parameters of that can be diverse, even as the impact can be intense on all. It will be interesting to see how diversity will be celebrated and interrogated by this ICA conference. How the essential nature of communication networks can be applied to quell turbulence from Ukraine to Sudan, and how the outcome translates to more innovative scholarships, which is our standard at the University of Port Harcourt. No doubt, having now become a hub of many vibrant members of the ICA, made up of distinguished faculty, as well as graduate students, communication scholarship will be positively impacted. Ladies and gentlemen, the University of Port Harcourt is ranked among the best universities in Africa and is renowned for its teaching, research, creativity, and innovation. Our mission is a pursuit of academic excellence, advancement of knowledge, and community service through quality teaching, lifelong learning, social inclusion, strengthening civil society, and policy-relevant research that addresses the challenges of contemporary society. To achieve this mission, the university is guided by the spirit of inquiry, self-reliance, fairness, ethical, and professional standards of the disciplines. University of Port Harcourt, as a philosophy, is committed to academic freedom, inclusion, equal opportunity, and respect for diversity. This is why we have welcomed this ICA conference with open arms. Obviously, the impact of our university is already being felt at the ICA, as our graduate student is organizing this up or this event. Moreover, it will be in building networks and exchange of knowledge and ideas that this ICA conference will foster inclusivity and serve as a global platform to harness Nigeria's and indeed Africa's abundant talents in communication scholarship and in the profession. In conclusion, I wish to appreciate the management of University of Port Harcourt, the deans of faculties, heads of departments, and other faculty members from Uniport and other universities attending this event. I appreciate the ICA for approving the hub for Port Harcourt, and also commend the organizer, Ikaite George, for our commitment to creating this opportunity. To all of you doctoral candidates and other students here, this conference will not only enrich your research experience, it will also widen your network and resources from which to draw in carrying out your academic and professional work. As a university, we are committed to supporting all of you to expand the frontiers of scholarship by reflecting and connecting things, attracting and challenging unknowns, whether they are nearby or far away. Once again, I welcome all ICA delegates to the 72nd Annual International Conference of the ICA in the Port Harcourt Regional Hub. I wish you all a happy time at this conference and successful deliberations. Welcome to Nigeria. Welcome to Port Harcourt. Welcome to the University of Port Harcourt. Thank you.
Okay, so to move on now, I want to go to Dr. Ochonogo. Dr. Ochonogo, communicating social justice and activism. What are the key issues, perspectives that we need to put into focus as we engage in this discussion, sir?
Thank you, moderator. I'm so delighted to be part of this discussion on communicating social justice, activism in Nigeria, the nexus between theory and practice. When we consider the term social justice, we are looking at a situation where equal opportunity is provided for everyone to attain one's potential, full potential, where everybody has access to means of wealth, creating wealth, where everybody has access to education and opportunities to create wealth. And that will make for a good society where everybody will leverage on what is available to, attain God's given potential. Then activism, we can see it from different perspectives. For me, activism has to do with the process of trying to drive change through advocacy, trying to make people see things from your own perspective to correct certain social ills so that the society will be a better place for everyone. So we're looking at planned actions that are geared towards bringing about change in society, change of status quo, change from what is undesirable to something that is desirable. And in this discourse, we're going to be looking at how communication can play a key role in bringing about social justice through activism. Thank you so much. I will hand over to